In the early 1800s, Montreal's Notre Dame Cathedral was a place of great joy for a young woman named Emily Gamelin. She was married in the cathedral, and her children were baptized there. But soon thereafter, Notre Dame became a sanctuary for Emily's sadness and sorrow. The deaths of her husband and 3 young sons, all in 5 years' time, plunged her into unimaginable grief. Through her aching loneliness, she found solace in serving the poor and vulnerable, her calling to the work ultimately leading to her life as a woman religious. In 1844, Emily became Mother Gamelin, the first superior general of what would later become the Sisters of Providence. The sisters wasted little time in opening the territory's first school, and shortly after, the Northwest's first permanent hospital. The turn of the century found them traveling across and changing an entire region. By whatever means available, they traveled across Washington, Idaho, Oregon, Montana, British Columbia, and ultimately Alaska and California on their continuing mission to nurture and educate. Many trips were for the express purpose of begging for support of their institutions, often pleading with miners for flecks of gold dust and small nuggets. During Mother Joseph's 45-year ministry in the West, more than 30 schools, hospitals, orphanages, and homes were founded. No institution was more associated with her than Providence Academy in Vancouver. Constructed under the watchful eye of its architect in 1873, Providence Academy was built as a girls' boarding school. The architect, Mother Joseph herself.
Natural gift she had for being able to put that all together in designing, in being an architect of pretty complex buildings, especially for the days in which they were built. And somehow she could do all of that. She was kind of a contractor's contractor, because those guys didn't get away with a thing. She'd go and check their work at night, and if she didn't like it, if it didn't meet her standard, they got to do it again the next day.
I think that the spirit of Mother Joseph is in many women in our province. They see this passion this woman had and what she accomplished, and with often the obstacles that she dealt with that have made a difference in their lives. That is something that maybe we all strive for at times, to have the strength that she did in times that can be challenging for us.
To be a Sister of Providence is to be involved in some kind of service to others. Wherever a sister is involved and she is carrying out her ministry, then that's what she is doing. She is revealing Providence, and she's also in this world letting people know that there is a compassionate, sorrowful mother who they can turn to when there are times when things aren't going as well as they would like them to go in their lives.
The challenge of religious life is community life, actually. Like I always often say, it brings joy, but it also is the most challenging part, at least for me. But I'm glad to say that I have experienced more joys than challenges.
Sometimes I think people talk about our vows as being sacrifices. Personally, I believe the vows really free us in many ways. I don't own a home. I don't own a car, but do I have a car? Do I have a place to live? Certainly, because the community provides that. My vow of poverty is my sense of how do I free myself from being attached to things. My vow of obedience means that I don't fully call the shots in my life.
Being a Providence woman, I find myself being a woman of compassion, but I want to be an integrated woman. So body, mind, and spirit.
I guess I'd say I've lived a religious life, but I don't think I knew when I entered what that meant. So it's a way of living and being. But you've got to be a human being first, and then you make it a religious life.
Religious life, for me, has filled a need I never knew I had. When my grandfather died, the sisters came to his funeral, and they were there supporting me when I truly needed it. And they were there when my when my niece was born. In the happiest times and in the saddest times, they're there. And when you find where you truly belong in this world, and not many people do, but when you find it, you want to share it.
So I believe religious life is not a choice that anybody can make on their own, but it is a response to God's choice. I choose the Sister of Providence because I love the charism of the community, to proclaim the mystery Providence with compassionate love and creative and prophetic solidarity with the poor. It really resonated within me. And the second, I chose the Sister of Providence because I want to be an apostolic community where I can serve people directly. And the third, I chose the Sister of Providence because I love the community life. We sharing, praying, and working together. I chose the Sister of Providence because I can be me.
5 arrived in 1856. In the century and a half since, hundreds have answered the call and become Sisters of Providence, serving in ministries across the West and around the globe. The Sisters of Providence, serving selflessly, often quietly, and always with humility, simplicity, and charity.